Recently, we got to experience the Grand Festival, a fantastic Splatfest to close out Splatoon 3's update cycle. We got to see amazing performances from all the idols in a beautiful plaza that really made the event feel special. And of course, we can't have a new plaza without everyone's favorite sidekick, this fish. We've done this 3 times by now, so you know how it goes. In today's video, I'll show you all 10 of Little Buddy's spots in the Grand Festival Plaza. I'll start with the easiest ones and gradually move on to the hardest. Before we get to the spots though, I'll quickly explain how to access the Grand Festival Plaza even after the event has ended. To go to the plaza, you need to scan the amiibo of an idol at the amiibo box. This works with any idol amiibo from any of the 3 games. Then click About the Grand Festival, and it'll lead you to 3 options representing the different versions of the plaza. Phase 1 in the evening, Phase 2 at night, and the morning from the time frame between the end of the event and the results. And once you're in the plaza, it'll be almost identical to how it was during the Grand Festival, so all of Smallfry's spots are the same and you'll be able to perform a certain glitch that I'll show later on. Now that we're all on the same page, let's see where our little buddy is hiding. Starting off with Smallfry's easiest spot at the Grand Festival Plaza, he can be found on top of the Grand Festival sign near the entrance, sitting on the letter F. This location is really easy to find. You'll see him right in front of you after entering the main area. I find it honestly adorable that Little Buddy has a visible spot close to spawn in every plaza, like he wants to greet us when we arrive. Moving on, Smallfry's second location is at the train station before the entrance. We can see him on the ground near Marigold between a seat and the trash can. This one is a cool callback to one of his spots in Inkantation Plaza, where he can also be seen sitting at the train platform. But trains don't run during the Grand Festival, so I can only assume he's there to appreciate the view. And I don't blame him, the sky is absolutely beautiful here. This next spot is also before the main entrance. Little Buddy can be seen right behind where the player spawns in the white tent with the dancing jelly. It must be really tiring for a tiny salmonid like him to spend all day moving around and watching shows, so you'll see him getting some much deserved rest in one of the beds in that tent. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little jealous. That looks like an S-tier napping spot to me. Next, we have Smallfry's 4th spot. This time he's in the main area of the plaza. After entering, you'll see different booths for the idols, and Little Buddy will be in the back of the Off the Hook booth. You can see him right behind the plushies on top of a stack of boxes. I knew that Smallfry really liked the Squid Sisters since he likes to hang out in front of their studio and sings Calamari Inkantation sometimes, but it seems that he's a fan of all the idols. At number 5, we have another location that's related to the idols. Smallfry can be seen at the Seashell Stage at the very front of the crowd. Since he's so small, anything other than a barricade spot probably would have made it impossible for him to view the performance, but can he even see the idols from where he is? Kinda seems like he's just staring at a wall from that angle. Either way, he doesn't need to actually see the performances to enjoy the music. Moving on, Smallfry is once again watching the idols perform, but this time he's at the giant clam stage. If you go all the way up to the scaffolds where there's the camera, you can see Little Buddy on the ground right next to it. He may be further away than before, but he likely has a much better view of the idols this time. Honestly, I really like these spots because they show us Smallfry's character and the fact that he's a big fan of the idols with how many spots he has relating to them. Now let's get to the harder locations. If you look up in the middle of the plaza, there's a massive boat with some of the statues we see in other cities. And here our Smallfry can be seen on top of one of the crane's wings. You can see him from the entrance, but if you want a better look, then I recommend going to the ramp that leads to the Seashell Stage. And there he is, once again chilling in the sky. It's not unusual for Little Buddy to hang out on top of these kinds of statues, so even if this one is very dangerous with how high up it is and how it's even close to fire sometimes, we note that this salmonid is a professional by now and risky spots are his specialty. Moving on to Smallfry's 8th location, we can find him on top of one of these trucks. Now there are multiple of this same truck around the Grand Festival Plaza, but he only shows up on the one close to the Seashell Stage. This is another one of his nap spots, but to be honest, it does not seem as comfortable as that tent we saw him in earlier. Now in case you were concerned about the distinct lack of insane spots, worry no more. If you look behind you when you spawn, there's an upside down Eiffel Tower in the distance. If you zoom in, you can see that Smallfry is right there on top of one of its feet. You can't see much more than his silhouette, but the best way to view this spot is by using photo mode and zooming in as much as possible into the tower's foot that's closest to you. A spot like this is very much on brand for Little Buddy, but I wonder if it's nostalgic for him. If you remember, Splatoon 3's intro starts quite close to that tower, so maybe he's reminiscing the past 2 years he spent with us. And finally, we have Smallfry's 10th spot in the Grand Festival Plaza. From the scaffolds at the giant clam stage, you can see Smallfry on top of the head of a broken rocket in the desert. Now you can see this location from where you are, but frankly it's a pretty awkward angle and you can't zoom in much. So the other way to view it is by going out of bounds. This means going outside of the allowed area by clipping out of it. This gives you access to places such as the tent where Octo is, the back of the giant clam stage, and more. Of course, you don't have to do this, but here's how to in case you're interested. If you're on the evening map, go to this area with a dancing inkling right before the ramp that leads to the Seashell Stage. Then go into squid form and smack your head against their feet and into this orange crate until you clip into it. And if you're on the night map, you can do this trick with this jelly at the ramen shop and the sign next to it. Keep in mind that this can take anywhere from 10 seconds to 5 minutes to perform, so don't worry if you don't get it on your first try. Once you're out of bounds, walk up this small hill and follow the perimeter of the giant clam stage until you see the rocket. Unfortunately, you can't get much closer because you'll fall out of the world, but it gives you a much better view of this spot. To me, this location feels like a reference to Mr. Grizz and Arc Polaris, and I find it kinda poetic that it's a salmonid standing on top of it. And those are all of Smallfry's spots in the Grand Festival Plaza. Honestly, I really didn't think that we'd get new spots after Inkantation Square, but it was a pleasure searching for our little buddy one last time. Also, I mentioned this briefly earlier, but I love how the devs developed Smallfry's character via his hiding spots. They could have let him be that pet that follows you around in single player, but I feel like I've gotten to know him through all the different locations we found him in these past 2 years. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you managed to find all his spots before the end of the Grand Festival. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye!